Well, good morning, drawing class. Welcome back to my office here at my house. I had this all recorded, ready to go for you at school, and, well, for some reason it didn't work. So I'm doing it again tonight. Welcome to Tuesday. I hope everything's going to go well for you today. Fortunately for you, we had one more day of drawing, which is great. You had an opportunity to resolve the image of the paper bag. You're able to deal with some of the shadows, some of the shading, the texture. A lot of you cleaned up the edges. Some of you, well, hope you're prepared for today. Today what you're going to be doing is you're going to be going up into the computer lab and you're going to be beginning two parts to the written critique. Hopefully in the past you've all been able to log into the computers and you know your student password and your student number because that's going to be required today. What you're going to be doing is starting with description and analysis in the written critique. Remember, description describes everything about the artwork. From the size, remember height first by width, so 8 by 10 or 10 by 8, depending on which way it's going. You also want to talk about not only the size of the piece, but you can even talk about what you use to make the piece. This is pencil on paper. You might even go as far to talk about the Staedtler pencil. You want to check the spelling on the side of those. But maybe you use strictly the HB pencil, or you use the 2H or the 2B or the whatever. You can be that specific when it comes time to talk about that. Also in the description portion of the critique, what you want to do is talk about not any emotional quality to the piece, but what's actually in the drawing. These are all paper bags. They are all closed compositions, and you can talk about what closed composition means. You can talk about the edge of the table, or if there's diagonal line in the table. You can talk a little bit more of that in the analysis portion, but you can bring it up here. You can talk that you used texture, you used value. The bag is standing upright. The page is, portrait, and the bag is standing upright. It is to the left of the page, or it is to the right of the page. You can talk about the negative space. Well, actually, that's stuff you might want to talk a little bit more about in the second section. But you want to have a lot of facts. Not a happy bag, not a sad bag, not a cranky, crumply bag. Just that it's got a lot of wrinkles, or it's very smooth. Things like that. Just the facts. The next section you want to talk about is analysis. And in analysis, well, remember, back up one step though. Description is like you're a private detective. You've come upon a crime scene and you have to give all the facts. Well, analysis is the second portion. This is where you're going to use the elements of art and the principles of design, and you're going to talk about how they're working together to assemble the composition of the piece. Remember that the elements of art are line, shape and form, color, value, and texture. There's no color in this piece, so when you're speaking about the grays, you're speaking specifically about the value. No color. The principles of design are balance, proportion, rhythm, emphasis, unity, and balance. What about the piece has a sense of unity? Why does it feel like there's a sense of balance? Do you have the bag on 1/3 of it and a lot of negative space on the other 2/3? Does that give it that sense of balance? You're not going to be able to talk about all of the elements and principles here, so I encourage you to speak of 2, maybe 3 elements, probably at this case really focusing on 2 of them, and maybe talk about another 2 of the principles. Be specific. Talk about where in the drawing this element is used, where in the drawing this principle is being emphasized or being used. Be specific about that. End of the hour, I want to make sure that you save everything. Tomorrow when I come back, I'm going to gather up everything you've done today, and I'm going to read it while you're working on the last 2 sections of the critique in the computer lab on Wednesday. And we'll see where we go from there. We might have to come back on Thursday, and then oral critique on Friday, but we'll play that part by ear. If you have any questions, email me. If you can't get into the computer, you're still held responsible for this, so I certainly hope that you've, at some point, done that. Good luck. Make sure you take your artwork with you to the computer lab so that you've got it to look at. And if you have any questions, please talk to our substitute. Good writing. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.